Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 414 of the No Sugarcoating Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Romaniuk. How are you? I hope you are doing well, no matter where you are in the world. I have to say, we had the most incredible celebration of life for my mom last weekend, and some incredible bonding and healing occurred in our family, and it's just so awesome. It was magic. It was so much fun and a blessing. So I wanted to update you guys on that. And please keep praying. Envision rain and no wind and snow for our province because fire is not good. So thank you for those of you who have sent prayers and visualized. The more the merrier. And hopefully by the time I record the next episode, they will be all out. So thank you again. But this week I wanted to go into, why I'm overcoming emotional eating or binging, if I'm saying one, I mean both, is the number one priority for healing. And why overcoming emotional eating is vital for hormone balance, gut balance, like any physical symptoms you're having. And I'm also going to be talking about Body Freedom Unleashed today, which is the most powerful group program to help you fully overcome emotional eating, binge eating, and gain food and body freedom in a group setting, which I absolutely adored coaching the 10 women that came into this program last year. And I'm really excited that enrollment is now open again. So I'm going to dive into details of that right away. But this is a really important conversation today because often people will, be struggling with emotional eating or binge eating, and innocently you just go and do all the tests and start taking a bunch of supplements, balance your hormones, but then that doesn't work. And then maybe you have all these other things coming up, but you still can't seem to kick the emotional eating, when in reality, one of the most important first things that we should be ideally dealing with is the self-sabotage with food. And I'm going to get into all the whys behind that. So as always, the show notes for today's episode can be found at amberapproved.ca/podcast/414. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, you can get all the details from today in the description below, all the links, etc. But essentially what I want to share about today is, as always, like there's kind of 3 tiers of support that I would suggest if you're struggling with emotional eating or binge eating. The base tier, as far as like a little taste intro, would be the Triggers 3-day masterclass. You can purchase the replay for $88 and I'll put the link in the show notes in the description below. It is going to help you really start to understand your triggers and start to take steps to start dealing with them. Okay. Next tier, which is a very transformational high level of support in a group setting, is Body Freedom Unleashed. And it is the group program to help you overcome your self-sabotage with food and build food and body freedom. It is 7 months. And it is on for early bird pricing and early bird bonuses right now. So essentially we have 7 months together. We have one 90-minute live session every month and a 60-minute Q&A. All of these are themed. So I'm going to talk more about the details of that in the second half of the podcast today. But early bird pricing is on right now and is a savings of like $667 or 777 USD. Yeah. So right now, if you want to come and join Body Freedom Unleashed and you want to get early bird pricing, it's $1333 USD. Okay, one payment, or you can pay 2 payments of $667 USD, due 1 month apart, or you can do the monthly payment plan, which is $191 USD a month, which to me is amazing. So that the pay in full is about just under 18 or 17. Yeah, it's about 1,800 Canadian paid in full, which is such a great deal and value for what you get in this program. Plus 7 months free access in the Body Freedom membership and free access to my Food Prep Magic programs as bonuses until June 6th. So that's all the goodies. I'm going to talk about more details of the program, but if you want to come and join us for that, you can literally just go to amberapproved.ca and click the banner on the homepage and it'll take you to sign up, or you can click the link below into the description on YouTube. Okay. We're going to have so much fun. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you get lifetime access to the program and the replays, so you won't miss out on anything. We also have the VIP again. So if you want to connect for a hormone test and a one-on-one 1-hour health assessment to go through hormone tests and any other health issues and things and receive one-on-one support and guidance, VIP is available for $19.99 USD. Okay, one payment. So let's dive into today's topic: why overcoming emotional eating is the number one priority for healing. So I feel like a lot of us, before we know any better, will put the emotional eating, the binge eating, the self-sabotage that we're in with food on the back burner, or we won't really address it right away because we are trying to address the symptoms that we're experiencing, right? you're bloated, you're tired, you're brain fogged, you're gaining weight, you have fertility issues, you have PMS symptoms, menopause symptoms, skin breakouts. So if you are struggling with emotional eating or binge eating, which is any reason for eating other than physical nourishment, yet you are trying to work on fully overcoming your symptoms, right? Maybe you have candida, maybe you have PCOS, whatever it is that's going on for you. If you are trying to overcome and deal with your symptoms, but you're not dealing with the emotional eating, and maybe you just weren't aware, maybe you are, but you're hesitant to try and work on it because it feels like it's going to take some time, or you can't just take a vitamin for it. You can't just take a test and be told what to do. Like it's more emotional. There's more there. It's maybe more vulnerable. Maybe it's more out of your comfort zone, which I totally understand. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we address emotional eating or binge eating because it's actually amplifying your symptoms and making them worse. And some of the biggest reasons for that, so I'll start breaking it down. So when we're struggling with emotional eating or binge eating, we'll often have an impact on our digestive system. It lowers our stomach acid, then we can't break down our proteins and fats as well. And then that can cause more bloating, discomfort, and pain when it enters the small intestine. And then maybe you have more bloating and pain and discomfort. You're more gassy. You have irregular bowel movements, constipation, diarrhea. Maybe for you, you're like sensitive to 50 million foods and you feel like you can't eat anything because you're sensitive to everything, right? When in fact, it's not that you're sensitive to everything because you're eating all those foods. It's because your nervous system's overwhelmed, your cortisol is high, and your digestion is out of whack, and that's all impacting your immune system, and that is all making your body just be reactive to everything. And that is because of the self-sabotage going on. And if you deal with the self-sabotage, you'll notice the reactivity of all these foods actually calms down. I've had so many clients do different food sensitivity tests, etc., and come back with all these things they're sensitive to. And then once they overcome emotional eating and we balance their gut and hormones, it regulates out so much, and they didn't have to cut all of the stuff out. I've had a couple clients where there's certain things that they're like, I don't eat it anyway, so I just won't have it for a little while. But like for the most part, it's about strengthening your immune system, and your immune system gets suppressed when you're constantly in the state of self-sabotage, because it's not just the amount of food you're eating or the quality of food, it's the emotional reactions thereafter, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, the anger and frustration at yourself, the sadness, the hopelessness, this is never going to change. I'm never going to be able to fix this. I don't feel good enough, etc. Right? Like all of that impacts your nervous system too. And what emotional eating and binge eating is really leading to is they want to lead you to healing this so you can build self-love and fill your void and come into wholeness with yourself and worthiness with yourself. Like that's really a huge reason why all of this comes up, is because you're not meant to struggle with it for the rest of your life, in my opinion. You're meant to see your triggers. Your triggers are teachers, and your triggers are trying to show you where there's emotional, energetic, physical, mental misalignments in the body, and spiritual misalignments too. Because once you start to see, ooh, I have that trigger, like, wow, overwhelm triggers me to emotionally eat because I'm overbooked and I'm a people pleaser, and I people please because I'm insecure and I need validation from others to feel good enough. That's a pretty big, important story to know, right? If you want to heal your relationship with food and you want to build worthiness, knowing you're a people pleaser and then you need validation from others to feel good enough is really important. Or if you're overwhelmed and overbooked because you're a perfectionist and you have an all or nothing mentality and you're overbooking your schedule and putting a very unrealistic amount of things on your plate because you've tied your worth to how much you do. And if you do less, you don't feel good enough. Well, don't you want to know that so that you can start course correcting and building worthiness and feeling worthy no matter how much or how little you do, right? If you have horrible sugar cravings that are triggering you to binge on sugar, you want to know that so that we can start looking at your blood sugar, your gut flora, the hormone imbalances that could be contributing, understanding the nature of certain addictive ingredients that, could be contributing. Like this is all really important to know. And this is the kind of examples of what your triggers are trying to show you. You get on the scale, you're unhappy with the number that you see, you get triggered, you want to eat, you're like, what's the point? F it, I'm going to eat whatever I want. Like there's that F it mentality, the all or nothing mentality. You're giving your power and your worth away to the number on the scale rather than going, I'm worthy no matter what. But I want to get curious because I want to start understanding my weight block triggers or my weight loss blocks, right? Like all of that, you wouldn't learn if you didn't actually start looking at and facing your triggers. And I think this is one of the most powerful opportunities to work on overcoming self-sabotage with food, is you get to Start understanding and building awareness around your triggers. Once you start to understand your triggers, start to build awareness around what are the first signs I'm triggered to go to food. Okay, is this physical or emotional hunger? Oh, it's emotional. This is what's coming up. Okay, now I get to start asking myself, do I really want to do this? Like, what does it cost me if I keep doing this? What is it costing you if you keep going to food? You keep people pleasing, you keep overbooking your schedule, your cortisol keeps staying high, and you have to keep staying on the $500 worth of adrenal support. Your integrative medicine doctor, your naturopath has you on because you're not dealing with the emotional eating. You're not dealing with the people pleasing. You're not dealing with the proving all or nothing mentalities. Like, that's going to cost you a lot of money for the rest of your life. A lot more. $500 is a lot more for the rest of your life or a long time than spending $1,300 on a group program or a few thousand on a one-on-one coaching program, right? Like, you're not meant to be on that for life, right? However, I can't make you. You must be willing to want to look at this and address this. And I tell you, as you do, you'll have so much less suffering. But these are what your triggers are trying to show you, where there's imbalances, misalignments, where you're out of your power, where your body's, out of whack, where there's symptoms and imbalances going on, your thoughts, beliefs, the ego, right? You learn so much about your ego mindset when you start healing your relationship with food. And I was talking about that in day 1 and day 3 of the Triggers Masterclass series on Tuesday and Thursday. Like, the ego governs us so much. And if we want to overcome our relationship with food, it's so important that we learn to understand the ego, because it's governing a lot of your negative thoughts and emotions and beliefs. And that dictates the way you show up in your life and the way you behave with food and the way that you show up with yourself and your body and your relationships and all the areas of your life. So if your ego is constantly convincing you, who cares, just go to food. Oh, it's too uncomfortable to actually look at your triggers. It's too uncomfortable to feel your emotions. It's going to be too much work to try and deal with people pleasing, and it continues to talk you out of it. And then you stay stuck and you're continuing to suffer and struggle. Your ego's winning instead of you going, okay, I have an ego. Yeah, I know it's going to have its ups and downs, but I really want to work on overcoming this self-sabotage with food, right? So it's a number 1 priority for healing, because if you have bad gut issues, you have hormone imbalances, you have fertility issues, PMS, menopause symptoms, weight gain, skin issues, fatigue, brain fog, low sex drive, eczema, psoriasis, inflammation, pain of any kind, you have a current diagnosis, illness, right? Like, the emotional eating and binging just amplifies all of that and makes it worse. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have mood issues. All of this makes that worse. And your ego is a huge reason, right, that your nervous system continues to stay stressed out. And the emotional eating and binging really overwhelms your nervous system. And every time you emotionally eat, you're in a fight or flight response. The amygdala in the brain is flooding adrenaline and cortisol through your body. And then that's just making it go up, up, up. And then you get more puffy and you get more bloated and you feel more sensitive. And then you get frustrated with your body because your body is talking to or yelling at you in some cases with these symptoms. And it's not because your body's out to get you. Your body loves you unconditionally, but your body's trying to communicate with you. And the way your body communicates with you is via symptoms. So she's going to be like, hey, I'm bloated. Hey, I have this headache. Hey, here's the skin issue. Hey, I'm exhausted because you literally keep overbooking me. You're staying up late on your screens and not getting enough sleep. And then you're like punishing me with food because I'm tired, and you're pissed at me because I'm tired when it's not my fault. Like, I'm not a robot. I am this divine vessel that you live in. And I do need more than like 3 hours of sleep and like a bag of Cheetos and a coffee today, right? I'm not saying you all are doing that, but you know what I mean? Like, your body's not a robot. You can't put sand in a Ferrari. Stop treating your body like a robot. I would not want to be a robot. No, I don't like all this AI stuff. AI is not supposed to be here to take over humanity. Side note, like, we're also unique and divine, and doing this healing work is so important for us to have this freedom and this incredible quality of life and happiness and health that we all deserve to have. It's also important to, prioritize overcoming emotional eating, because I've had women reach out to me and say like, hey, like, should I get labs done before we work together? Hey, should I do this gut protocol before we work together? And I'm like, well, you're going to choose the path that feels best for you. However, if you're struggling with binging and emotional eating, and then someone's telling you to do a candida cleanse or a parasite cleanse, you're just going to end up feeling in so much pain and so much more bloated because you're trying to kill all this unhealthy stuff in your digestive system, but then you're just feeding all of it with all the binging and emotional eating. So ideally, I would say, no, I actually would not suggest you do any of that. Let's work on overcoming emotional eating or binge eating. And then we can take a very gentle, non-invasive, non-restrictive approach to balancing your gut flora once you are done with the self-sabotage with food. And elimination diets. We don't do that. It's the emotional eating, the binging that's fueling the inflammation and all the food sensitivities. Once you stop doing that and we gently support your digestion and hormones and your nervous system, which is the biggest piece, inflammation really reduces. And we don't just hang on to inflammation because you have gut issues. You hang on to inflammation because you're hanging on to anger. You're not forgiving people. You're hanging on to the past. You have a wounded inner child. Like there's all these emotional components within you that you haven't necessarily known how to process, how to work through, how to deal with. And so part of the work we do together is introduce lots of powerful coaching and questions and nervous system regulating tools to help you work through and let go of these suppressed emotions that have been suppressed because you're binging and emotionally eating and you're shoving them down, right? And we teach you baby step, just how to start feeling, and it's safe to feel, and it's okay if it's a bit uncomfortable. Just start practicing for 30 seconds, just small little steps. I don't believe in forcing or pushing people into massive change. It's little steps, right? This is so important. Baby steps. I cannot stress enough. That's why I even have on my consultation, body freedom consultation page, like this is a safe space. You go at your pace. I want you to feel safe and supported. Okay. This is so important. So it's so important to actually address emotional eating first, because once it falls away, your inflammation reduces, your hormones can regulate more easily. The supplements you may already be taking or start taking are going to actually work and be efficient, and you won't need to be on them for the rest of your life. Maybe I always say probiotic is probably a good thing to take forever because our gut flora is so sensitive. And like for me, I take my desiccated thyroid because my body prefers it. I tried going off of it, but my body really likes it. But otherwise, like we should be able to come off of a lot of this stuff once the things come back into balance. But depending on how severe it is and how out of whack things are, there may be certain things you do or take for a while, right? But I've seen such positive changes with clients. Like I've had clients and like their cortisol is like 30 and it should be like 10, and like it goes from 30 to 25 and like 15 and down to 12, right? C-reactive protein, I had one client, that's an inflammatory mark, it was like 20, and then we did the next test, it was a 10, and now it's at like a 4, and it's like, yes, right? Because she's healed her relationship with food first, and now we're really working on like releasing lots of negative thoughts and emotions and inner child support and like all these cool things. But it's because we did it in the, oh my God, I want to say habit, but we did it in the order where you deal with the biggest stressor first, which is the self-sabotage, because you're hurting and stressing at your body every time you do it, right? I don't suggest detoxes and or anything invasive while you're struggling with this, because it will usually make your symptoms worse. It will make you feel worse. It will amplify the emotional eating usually, right? So we want to deal with that first. We can support and reduce cravings. We can support your blood sugar, reduce your PMS symptoms, all these different things. We can do that while we are working on you overcoming binge or emotional eating, overcoming your food addiction, 150%. We support these things and you gain massive relief as we're doing so. And then though, you have more effective results with balancing your gut flora, your liver, all these things. So overcoming emotional eating and binges is the number one priority for any kind of healing, physical, emotional, energetic, or spiritual, because it is amplifying so much imbalance. It's lowering your frequency, right? It's overwhelming your body and your mind, and it's keeping you disconnected from your intuition and all parts of you. And it's keeping you in that loop of self-dislike, self-hate, unworthiness. Okay. And so overcoming emotional eating specifically is vital for hormone balance, because every time you go into a stress response, even before you binge or emotionally eat, your amygdala, like I've been talking about, produces adrenaline and cortisol. So if you're always stressed, if you're always overbooked, if you're people-pleasing, perfection, proving mentalities, if you're always being critical of your body, if you are constantly like poking at yourself and comparing, if you're constantly nattering and fighting and arguing with others and projecting on others, if you're constantly watching shows that are stressing you out, you're constantly watching the news and it's stressing you out, you're constantly on social media and it's stressing you out, you have little to no time for yourself, right? All of that, like you're going to be flooding cortisol and adrenaline through your body for most days. And we're not supposed to be. It's only supposed to be small little like bits of time because there's a bear or a real threat and you produce it to help protect you, you run away, and then you're good. But we're like seeing bears all the time, even though there's no bears. And so this is why it's so important to understand that even before you emotionally eat, you're in this stress response, and then you eat to like numb, suppress, distract, shove down those emotions, have a quick break, a quick high, a quick pleasure response. You get that dopamine high. And that's why so many of us chase using food or technology or online shopping to get the dopamine high. And then as we do that, we associate pleasure with our stressors and our discomforts. And then we use food in that association instead of actually going, okay, like, why is this happening? Why am I feeling this symptom? Why am I feeling this emotion? Why am I continuing to people please and feel unworthy? Why am I continuing to be critical of my body? We don't get curious and ask the real important questions because we don't know what to ask or what to look for. And instead we get hard on ourselves when the diet doesn't work or when we can't have enough willpower, even though it's got nothing to do with willpower or trying harder on your diet. It's that we don't necessarily know how to address the self-sabotage with food. So like I was saying earlier, like if you want to start with to get your foot wet, the 3-day triggers masterclass, understanding the roots of your binge and emotional eating triggers for $88 USD. As soon as you sign up, you get access to the 3 replays forever. Like start there if you're wanting to get your foot wet, right? And then if you want to actually have like a really high level of accountability and support, this is where Body Freedom Unleashed, the group program or one-on-one are your jams. And everyone who does one-on-one gets free access to all my master classes. And you'll get some pretty cool bonuses in the Body Freedom Unleashed program, which I'll talk about shortly. And as always, friendly reminder to take a water break. Water breaks are so important. So make sure you take your water break. I've been talking a lot today. Which I love. I love teaching and educating, and the podcast and the master classes is so much fun. So it's vital for hormone balance because you're in a stress response. And the longer you're in that stress response, the more cortisol you're producing. The more cortisol you're producing, the more you're overstimulating your body, the higher or lower your cortisol levels get. And then you end up with more brain fog, more mood ups and downs. You're more irritable. Your fuse is a lot shorter. Your cycle gets more irregular. It may be harder to get pregnant. Your PMS or menopause symptoms get worse. Your digestion gets more sensitive. You have more cravings for salt, sugar, or carbs. Abdominal weight gain, it's harder to lose. You feel more fatigued after your workouts, right? The list of symptoms goes on. Your eczema flares up worse. Your skin issues get worse. Your pain gets worse. So that's the first thing is as long as we're in emotional eating and binge eating, even just the being overbooked and overwhelmed before we eat. And then of course, once we eat, it stresses out the digestive system. It fuels inflammation. It lowers our stomach acid. Then we can't break our protein and fat down properly. That all stresses your body out. And then you get more bloated and more sensitive to everything. And your bowels are irregular and you can't detox properly and toxins build up in the body. And inflammation is like swelling, redness, puffiness, retaining water, feeling really warm. And that grows. And then it increases your chance over longer periods of time for like all kinds of autoimmune things that you don't need. And if you already have, it makes it worse. And we can actually significantly reduce symptoms, even if you have an autoimmune diagnosis or any diagnosis by dealing with this. I've had so many clients with arthritis and diabetes and all kinds of things really see improvements because they're no longer fighting against their bodies. And I think that's one of the most important things is we want to have you stop fighting against your body because your body's not out to get you. Your body unconditionally loves you. It's the mind that's been conditioned to think that your body's out to get you, when in fact, like it's your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional state and your ego that are convincing you how to behave with food, your body, and how you're showing up in your life. And it's a lot of that is fueling these symptoms and these diagnoses. And when we can learn to deal with not only the food, but our triggers and our emotional mindset state, our limiting beliefs, our negative thoughts, the wounded inner child, which we all have, the ego mindset, right? And also look at the hormones and digestion and blood sugar, those kinds of things. And we support each piece, then we see the holistic, the wholeness, the worthiness, the balance, the food and body freedom that occurs. And I think that that's just like you get to have it all and it's a win-win situation for you. But I know for some of you, it's uncomfortable to want to do the deeper work. So you'd rather take the weight loss pill or continue to try the diet or the weight loss app because you are terrified of facing yourself and facing these triggers and learning how to feel through your emotions. And I'm sending you so much love and compassion if that's the place that you're in, because I totally was there. And I know it can feel uncomfortable to want to do this. And that's why like it's so great to do it in a one-on-one setting or a group setting and actually receive support and guidance. So you know you're not alone. And if you fall down, you get picked back up and dusted off and you get to move forward. Like you don't have to do this alone. I love helping. I've had some men reach out recently too. I love helping people, like men, women, doesn't matter. Like I want to help you gain food and body freedom and step into your power so you can step into the best quality of life, the healthiest body, mind. Like this is why I'm on this planet. And it's just such a gift to help you work through these niggly pieces that you thought you would just have to struggle with and deal with for the rest of your life. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's a huge mindset thing. So this is one of the first reasons why we want to overcome emotional eating, right? To help balance our hormones is because we're flooding cortisol through our body and our body doesn't get a break. And then the longer the cortisol's off, the more it impacts digestion. Then it fuels inflammation and then it's harder to lose weight and it fuels all these other imbalances. It suppresses our immunity, so many different things. And then if it's off for long enough, it starts to negatively impact our thyroids. And then a lot of us end up with underactive thyroid, hypothyroid, where the pituitary is producing too much thyroid stimulating hormone into the body. And then you have easier to gain weight, cold hands and feet, hair loss, eyebrow thinning, extreme fatigue in the morning. Those afternoon energy lows is more of a cortisol thing. You don't feel yourself. You're more moody. Your cycle's more impacted, right? And then it can impact and lower your progesterone, your estrogen, or you can end up with really high estrogen. And it can impact your testosterone and deplete your vitamin B12, which is your energy vitamin. So all of this from the behavior of emotional eating and not dealing with it, right? And then you're still though getting pissed off at your body because your body's not working the way you want her to. But it's like, okay, but if you're missing this big piece, it's kind of like the elephant in the room, the big elephant in the room, right? That is totally there and you know it's there, but you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Oh, I don't know. I might have opened Pandora's box if I look at that and deal with that. Oh, like, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? Let me tell you, like 99% of the women that come to work with me overcome this. It's like a very, 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 and maybe in my 10 years and over 1,600 women, I've had like 5 people. That just goes to show you, it's like 99.9% overcome it, right? Because you show up, you're open to the coaching and you really want to make the change. I know what it feels like to be in this and to be so over it and so done and so over the level of suffering that it's caused. Because I was there eating out of the garbage can, so bloated, isolating at home, broke. My bank account was always in the red. I had a crappy job. I was alone. I was revolving my entire life around my weight and body and food. Like, I know not all of you have the same circumstance, but that's really a lot of what it looked like. And it sucked. It was horrible. It was hell. But I had to go through it because obviously I was meant to overcome it, to come and hold space for all of you beautiful souls. And I'm totally here for it. And you're not alone. You don't have to be ashamed and embarrassed. It's safe for you to come forth. It's safe for you to open up. It's safe for you to reach out for support. I highly encourage you and welcome you, because it's like, what would it feel like for you if in a month from now, even you were able to lessen the amount of triggers you were having and the duration of how often you were triggered, even in a month? Fast forward 3 months, 6 months, maybe you've completely stopped binging or emotionally eating, or it's like half the amount, or it's down like 60%. And then in 9 months to a year from now, you're fully free of it. You have no more bloating. Your inflammation is way down. Your hormones are finally regulating. Your energy levels are way up. I had a client last week and she's like, I just thought it was normal to be bloated and in pain all the time. And she's like, now for 6 months, I have had no bloating and no pain. And she's like, this is normal. She's like, I can't believe it. She's like, it's an incredible feeling to not be bloated and in pain all the time. And another client I just finished up with, and I'm going to share her success story video on my success story page at amberapproved.ca. But we're doing her success story, and I didn't know this because we had wrapped up. And she's like, yeah, this is the first spring. Like, she overcame emotional eating. We really worked on her digestion and hormones. She's like, this is the first spring I haven't had to take allergy medication like every day. She's like, I have had little to no reaction to my spring allergies. I was like, that is amazing. That is because her digestive system is strengthened. Her hormones are regulated. Her nervous system's regulated. Her immune system's a lot stronger, right? So she's not so sensitive because she healed her relationship with food in her body. These are the miracles that occur. And there's so many more, right? But overcoming emotional eating is vital for regulating your nervous system to start regulating and balancing your hormones. If you're binging and emotionally eating all the time and you're trying to be on a hormone protocol with all the supplements and you're not seeing results and you're so frustrated and beyond because nothing is changing, be willing to look at the elephant in the room, which is the emotional eating and binge eating. And are you willing to start dealing with it? Because I love you. And I'm also going to be honest, not a lot's going to change until you really face this part. And no one can make you, and I'm not here to make you. You're going to do whatever you choose to do. However, like, stop wasting your money on this stuff if you're not dealing with this piece, right? I know that there's a deeper level of healing, freedom, love, worthiness, respect, joy, happiness, grounding, peace, connection, attunement, intuition, higher vibe, higher frequency, higher vibration available for you via choosing to do this deeper work. We just take it one little baby step at a time. You're so supported. We make sure the recommendations feel good for each of you. It's your journey. I'm here to walk along with you each step of the way. That's always been my thing. I've never believed in like, yeah, we're going to just work together. And like, I'm here kind of like, I am there with you every step of the way. I want you to feel held and supported, because I know if I put myself in your shoes or in my shoes 14 years ago, I would have wanted to be held each step of the way. And then as you heal and you overcome, you spread your wings and you're good. You have all this for life and it doesn't come back, right? Like, this is the power of this. But if you're upset because your hormones aren't balancing and they're staying the same or they're getting worse and you're dealing with this, can you be honest with yourself that maybe it would be a good idea to deal with this? Same with the bloating and the gut issues. If you're struggling with emotional eating or binge eating, can you be honest with yourself that maybe it's time to also address this too? And if you feel like you're trying all these things and nothing is working, well, we can work on your hormones and digestion as well. I work with my clients on that all the time. So that's why it's so important to overcome emotional eating or binge eating in general for all health and well-being and hormone balance and for your quality of life, your relationships. I know it impacts your relationships. I know it impacts your day and your happiness. I know it's impacting your career and the way you're showing up in your job. I know it's impacting your business and the way you show up or don't show up there. I know it impacts your finances and money flow. I know it impacts how many sizes of clothing are in your closet. I know because I've been there. It impacts your quality of life. I get that significantly. And we get to change that when you choose to address the elephant in the room, which is the emotional eating and binge eating, the deeper healing, transformation, the power, the respect. Because, I mean, you could say the penguin in the room, the lamb in the room. It doesn't matter to me what animal you use, but that's like been the saying, right? Be willing to look at it and start taking steps to work toward overcoming it. It actually is so liberating, and it's honestly not nearly as scary as you'd think it would be. It's your ego that makes up this big story that it's this big scary thing. Yes, it's got its moments. Yes, it's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's freeing. And to me, freedom, food freedom and body freedom is worth the discomfort, because what becomes comfortable is you building the beautiful self-care practices, is you setting healthy boundaries and overcoming the people pleasing, is you building balance and stopping the perfection, all or nothing mentalities, is you being able to catch your triggers and feel through your emotions and having great tools, support, and accountability to do so, is you being able to see the bloating and inflammation go away and the energy levels and mental clarity improve because you faced it, because you chose to face it. I know you have the courage and bravery within you to do so, right? So let's talk about, okay, you're like, okay, I'm amped. I want to do this. Tell me more about this program. So like I said, Body Freedom Unleashed is my like second tier. So one-on-one, if you're like, I know I want one-on-one, book a 30-minute body freedom consultation, go to amberapproved.ca, click schedule a consultation. You will fill out an intake form. It's $50 USD and you will get to pick your time. We connect for 30 minutes, talk about everything: hormones, gut health, symptoms, cravings, your relationship with food, body image, whatever you want to bring to the table, we talk about. And then we talk about what's holding you back, why none of it has worked, what you've tried, what this approach looks like. And we talk about the programs, 12-month, 6-month, 4-month, etc., and see what feels like the best fit for you and answer your questions. And we go from there. Okay. So if you know that's what's calling you, come join me for one-on-one. If you're like, I want to play in the group, I want to come and join Body Freedom Unleashed. I love being in a group, right? You get to learn from all the other women in the group, which to me, when we did it last year, was so incredible, because every time someone shared in Boxer or in one of the sessions, everyone else will be like, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being courageous, right? Like the relatability is just so incredible. And the community of support is incredible. And all the women bond, and, you build this relationship and you cheer each other on and you support each other on the down days. And it's absolutely amazing. And you also get to have me as your space holder and supporter for 7 months. So Body Freedom Unleashed is 7 months. It's a group program. We start mid-June. Okay. So amazing. So what do you get? So in the 7-month program, we connect twice a month live on Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you live in the world. I've had women in like Germany and the UK and Australia not Australia, Germany, UK, United States, Canada. I have connected with women in Australia, but they came to 101. But we connect each month for a 90-minute live session, and each session is themed to a specific focus. So obviously the first thing that we're going to be working on is we're going to be working on emotional eating and binge eating, and really helping you to identify and understand the different things that are triggering you to go to food. And we're also going to be talking about mindless versus mindful eating, physical versus emotional hunger, diet and food rules that you may be dealing with, and debunking those, right? We're going to start talking about diet and restriction mentalities that are also fueling emotional eating and binges. And you're going to start with awareness and triggers. And I'm going to help you really start to understand everything that's triggering you and how to start navigating your triggers. And in month 2, we introduced a very powerful tool that I introduced to all of my clients to help catch, stop, and overcome the triggers. And that's going to help you build a lot of confidence. We're also going to talk about sacred self-care practices, starting to ease into a self-care routine, the people pleasing, the all or nothing, and the perfection mentalities that are blocking you from that, because you're going to want healthy ways to cope, and you're going to learn different ones that work for you. And we're also going to talk about that ego voice, and I'm going to give you coaching on how to deal with that. Month 3 is all about building happy digestion and hormones. So we're going to specifically go deep into gut health, hormone health, and we're going to talk about the different functions and why you have the symptoms that you do, and things, foods, teas, spices, self-care practices, supplementation that can help you start to balance your unique hormone issues. And of course, I have the VIP option again. So if you want to do a one-on-one 1-hour session with me in a hormone test, I will talk about that in a few minutes. We'll also be doing month 4, which is addressing people pleasing, perfection, and all or nothing mentalities. So that's all the ego stuff, right? People pleasing, all or nothing, perfection will amplify self-sabotage with food, hormone issues, gut issues, weight gain, etc. So we will be tying in weight loss blocks and weight and the body putting on protection through this whole program. And as you go along, you have less inflammation, your hormones regulate more, and you'll start to feel your clothes fitting looser, which is always great. But we'll work through the discomfort of, guilt, of making yourself a priority, familial programming, and things that we inherited from our families, bless their souls. But sometimes we inherit stuff that keeps us stuck in these habits. And this will help set you up for success to overcome emotional eating. We're also going to be going into mastering mindful eating and simple food prep, and you get free access. One of the early bird bonuses is free access to my 3 food prep magic programs. There's one on inflammation and gut health, one with general food prep, and then one is a holiday themed, and all of them have allergen-free recipes and grocery lists, and it's amazing. So that's one free bonus you get if you sign up by June 6th. Okay. And then month 6 is building body love and confidence. So this is all about really focusing on body image triggers, finally feeling confident in the body you live in, and looking at the insecure parts of you, and how do you start connecting and appreciating these parts of you. We'll introduce different tools, guidance, and support to help you step into celebrating and having such deep gratitude for your body. The more you do this, the safer she feels, the easier it is for her to let go. Month 7 will be December. So of course, we're going to be doing holiday food freedom, right? So imagine being able to get through the holiday season of Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and any other special occasions without losing control or feeling guilty, instead having balance with food. Hello, that was one of my biggest struggles with my relationship with food, right? Instead, you get to feel proud that you're able to have balance and enjoy indulgence, coming out the other side of the holidays feeling empowered, right? So you can just cherish the memories that you had and come into the new year without the diets, the restriction, the quick fixes. You also get the following bonuses as soon as you sign up. So if you, anyone, even if you come in after early bird, you get the blood sugar balancer, which is going to help you with regulating your blood sugar, reducing your cravings for sugar, salts, and carbs. And you're going to learn more about key nutrients to add into your food to help feel satiated and help your appetite levels feel regulated. Obviously, everyone that comes into the program is going to get full support for your unique health picture, because I know all of you have a different picture. So different nutritional supplements, self-care, mindset, and emotional recommendations and suggestions will be given as we go through this time together, which I'm so excited about. Anything you need, I'm here to help guide and support you with. So you get the 90-minute sessions, which we go through each topic each month. And then there's a 60-minute live Q&A each month where I will give you like hot seat coaching live. If you can't make it live, you can leave your questions in the Voxer, and then I answer them very thoroughly in the live, and then you can watch the replays. If you can't make sessions live, you can watch the replays, and you will get lifetime access to this entire program. Now, to bridge the gap, we have the Voxer app, which I love. The whole group gets added into Voxer, and then I'm in there Monday through Friday, but you can leave messages whenever you want. Struggles, questions, guidance, coaching, support, celebrations. And I come in Monday through Friday, a couple times each day, and I respond to each of you individually and answer your questions, give you support, guidance, whatever it is that you need. It's a very powerful support that I only give to my one-on-one. So the fact that you get access to that is huge, and it's going to help you gain traction between our live sessions. You're going to get lots of self-care tools, worksheets, guided meditations. We're going to do a 60-minute mind mapping session, which helps you build a new identity with your body and food. So all of that is included. So if you decide you want to sign up and get the early bird bonuses, which are epic, which by the way, it's by June 5th, not 6th. Number one, you're going to get instant access to ways to soothe without food, which is there's 10 ways to soothe without food that you can start watching like now as soon as you sign up, which is great. You're going to get the blood sugar balancer. And then you're also going to get free access to the Body Freedom membership for 7 months. That in itself is just the most incredible bonus. So there's self-care sessions. You want to learn how to journal, breathe, tap, meditate, connect with your inner child, all these different things that we're going to be talking about in the program. You're going to be able to go in and access all the replays since the membership has been live for over a year. There's dozens of sessions and all the live sessions for 7 months. And you're also going to get complimentary access to the 3 food prep program replays that I've been talking about. That's over $1,000 in bonuses if you sign up by June 5th. Okay. Now, we are also in early bird pricing, so I'm going to share this with you now as well. Okay. So if you sign up for Body Freedom Unleashed via and during the early bird savings, okay, you save like $777 USD on the program. Okay. Amazing. So instead of the program being $2,222 USD paid in full, it's $1,333. Okay. And that is going to be available for you until Sunday, June 11th. So you have, if you want to get the membership and the food prep bonus, that's available till June 5th. And then the early bird savings is available till June 11th. I want to give you enough time to, if you need to get some savings or ask for some help or whatever you need to do, because I know that you're going to know that this program is for you. So you can pay in full, one payment of $1,333. Okay. 2 monthly payments of $667 USD. So one due upon signing up, and then the other will be due exactly 4 weeks later. Or you can do the monthly payment plan, which to me is so reasonable, $191 USD per month. So it's about an $1,800 Canadian program. So monthly payments, $191 USD per month. You are responsible for your monthly payments if you do take the monthly payment plan route, just to share, right, for accountability. But to me, that's like such an incredible deal. Especially because as we get into one-on-one, we're going like 3,000 USD plus for programs. So this to me is just a steal. And I've made it easy so that you have 3 different payment options. The last option, if you're like, I want this, what's VIP, Amber? You get the entire program plus all the amazing bonuses. Plus, we get to connect for a 1-hour health assessment. You fill out a thorough intake form, and then we see where you are in the world. Location doesn't matter. You can attend this program no matter where you are in the world. And I just get your details of your location, and testing is for hormones is either shipped to you or it's a requisition done at a lab, depending on where you live. And then once we get those results back, we have your hour health assessment, and we talk about all your physical symptoms, your struggles, your relationship with food, body image, mindset, how you're eating, supplements, medication. We do the full meal deal. I have specific tools to assess your gut health, hormone health, etc. And then I can make very direct, specific recommendations to help you balance your hormones, because every single woman I've ever worked with has had hormone imbalances. So some women really want this. This was very popular last year. I think we had 4 of the 5 spots fill for this. So there's 5 spots available for VIP. It's $19.99 $299 USD. That is the early bird regular 2888. So that is an amazing deal. And that includes your hormone test, your 1 hour plus the entire program and all the bonuses if you sign up by June 5th. And then the early bird pricing will still be available up until June 11th, but those membership and the food prep food prep program bundle will go away after June 5th. So those are all the details. Okay. If you have questions, if you're like, okay, is this for me? And you have any specific questions, there is a Q&A section on the sales page. And obviously you can just go to amberapproved.ca, click literally on the homepage. It'll be like Body Freedom Unleashed. You can't miss it. Just click that. You can read more about the program. You can read through questions there. If you have, if your question isn't answered, email me info@amberapproved.ca, DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And if you want to hop on so this is the boundary here, right? This stays 15 minutes. Okay. This isn't the opportunity. I have to be loving with my boundaries because I've had people come for 15 minutes and they want to turn it into an hour. That's not what this is. This is a quick, hey, we want to connect. You want to make sure this feels like the right fit for you. You want to get your questions answered and make sure, that we can hop on 15 minutes. I always do the grace period of an extra 5 minutes, right? So feel free to email me info@amberapproved.ca, just put subject line 15-minute connection, and we can arrange a time to connect and talk about Body Freedom Unleashed and see if it feels like a fit. But if you want to do one-on-one, 30-minute body freedom call, we want the 30 minutes. That is already set up in there for you. This program is epic. You'll want to go to the sales page. Again, you'll just be able to click amberapproved.ca because there's tons of incredible testimonials. I'm going to read like 1 or 2 of them quickly, and then I'm going to wrap up this episode. But there's video testimonials, Jade and Alex's, that you can watch. But I want to read a couple of the experiences that some of the women in the program had. So I have April. Through Body Freedom Unleashed, I learned so much about behaviors with food I've had for years, and I was finally able to get to the root causes of them with Amber's support and guidance. My emotional eating is down to a minimal, weight is coming off, and I'm learning how to feel through my emotions versus shoveling them down with food. It's been reassuring knowing I'm not alone in my struggles and journey. Also, the support from the other women in the program was so powerful. Exactly, community. And then Jasmine says, thank you to Amber and all the ladies in the program. I'm in a different place than I was at the beginning of the year, and I couldn't have even imagined reaching this point a few months later. I'm very grateful for this and also very proud of myself. Seeing that I have it in me to change my relationship with food and behaviors I was stuck in for most of my life has been so profound. This journey has also got me to a place I wasn't sure I could get to. Thanks for all the amazing advice, guidance, and all you ladies being open and honest about your feelings, behaviors, and opinions. And the last one from Sabrina, I was interested in Amber's Body Freedom Unleashed program because it was a group program. I get more out of peer environments sometimes, and I love the content that it covered. All things I knew would be a great experience through, let me say that again. I knew it would be a great experience because I wanted to go slowly because I don't want to rush. And having someone lead the way is a huge benefit for me. I also really love the Voxer support between our live sessions because it allowed us to stay connected and close and receive a high level of support through the entire program, which helped me gain a lot more progress. It's like Amber's your one-on-one coach, even though it's in a group. You wouldn't even feel like you aren't heard or guided as you're guided personally through the program. She does an amazing job. So when I was having personal struggles, she was there to help. That was the greatest benefit for me from start to finish of the course. She opened my eyes to things I knew, but was taking the time to slow down and address, especially my all or nothing mentality, emotional eating triggers, and continued resistance to make myself a priority. Once I did, through my owning of my shit and Amber's reminders that if I want to change, I have to do the work by slowing down and taking the time, I was able to get traction on changing my food behaviors from a different perspective. By changing the relationship I had with myself, I was able to change my relationship with food. Thanks, Amber. So this just gives you a little taste of everything there. So I will put the details in the show notes at amberapproved.ca/podcast/414. There will be a banner that you can click that takes you right to sign up for Body Freedom Unleashed. Or you can just go right to amberapproved.ca, click the Body Freedom Unleashed banner. It'll be huge, and then we'll take you to the sales page, and you can pick your payment plan, regular or VIP, and what you want to do, and you get to come and join us. We start mid-June. I'm going to wait and see what locations people sign up in, because if we have, a few time zones that are best, and I'm going to try and structure the times of the sessions so that we can get as many people coming live as possible. Obviously, I may not be able to accommodate everyone, but we'll see as people start to come in. So I can't wait to see which listeners, come forth. I'm so excited to meet you and support you and guide you on this journey. And it's just been a pleasure to record this podcast with you. Thank you so much for listening. Show notes can be found at amberapproved.ca/podcast/414. So if you want to start with the Triggers Masterclass series, the banner will be there in the show notes for that. At amberapproved.ca/podcast/414. There will be a banner for Body Freedom Unleashed as well, and all the other little details. If you're wondering if you're struggling with emotional eating, you can also take the free emotional eating quiz at amberapproved.ca and book your 30-minute body freedom consultation. I'm sending you all so much love and cheering you on. I'm so excited to welcome those of you into one-on-one and Body Freedom Unleashed that want to come forth. Have a beautiful day, a great rest of your week, and I will look forward to sharing an entire new episode with all of you beautiful souls next Sunday. Take care.